first diagnosed with my cancer on Christmas Eve 2002. You know, a very nice day to get diagnosed with cancer, but it ruined the Christmas a wee bit. But I started my treatment, done with Mr Mackenzie at the Royal. I started my treatment in January 2003. And that was getting the mask made for the radiotherapy. And that took until April. The actual radiotherapy started about end of January. That ran on to April, like mid-April. And the type of cancer it was a plasmacytoma. Well, as the name suggests, it was blood related. Well, the tumour was in my nasopharynx in there, and it grew right down the back of my throat, because my own GP thought it was a polyp growing down the back of my throat. And it was quite an awkward place to get to, as you can understand. It was through right into your sinus cavity and that. So unfortunately the radiotherapy didn't work. So I was then passed on to Jerry McGarry, now Professor McGarry, and he gave me the option of chemotherapy or surgery. So back in there, I was a wee bit of pain. I said, I don't want chemotherapy in case all my hair falls out. I said, I'll go for the surgery. And he said to me there and then, I've never done this type of surgery before in that area. He says, but I think I'll be able to do it, you know. Jokingly, you know, he's quite a character, you know. And it did work, but it took about 6 hours in a theatre to get this wee tumour out my bits.
What I suffer from is what's commonly termed as a full laryngectomy. The cancer was in my throat, affecting my voice box, my larynx, my taste buds, and eventually to take away my whole throat with the cancer and they built a new throat. And because of that, I had major problems trying to communicate when I had the cancer, when I was in hospital. I couldn't speak. They left provision, what they call a fistula, to put in a valve so I'd be able to talk. But when I came out of hospital, I'm still unable to speak, and the valve was fitted. I ended up still unable to talk for a full 8 to 9 months after the cancer. And with that, I felt in the hospital, but everything was fine when you were getting the treatment. Everything was great, doctors fantastic, nurses fantastic. But as soon as you became able to leave and you left, you were somebody else's problem. You weren't theirs. And as such, you ended up on your own.
On the 21st of December 2012, I was diagnosed with left tongue-based cancer, squamous cell carcinoma. And when I was told about this cancer, I thought, well, I'm going to die. I thought about my kids. I wondered how they were going to cope because their father had died of cancer, and that meant they'd be left on their own. And what was going to happen to them? I didn't really realise how much it affected my kids until later on, when we never actually sat down and spoke about this, my cancer. It was kind of put to the side with my kids. You know, my mum's going to be fine, my mum's going to be this, my mum's going to be that. But that's not the way I felt. I felt I was going to die. It didn't matter what the doctors, the oncologists, MD told me, I thought I was going to die. But however, I went through all my treatment, but I'm back. I'm in remission, or it's non-active just now. Now I can speak to my kids about how they felt when I had cancer.
I was diagnosed with a tumour next to my voice box, throat cancer, in the year 2000. At first, I must say I was devastated when I was told. I was terrified actually, because I thought, I'm not going to make up for this operation. My family, my daughter wasn't too bad, my wife was a bit worried about the whole thing. Eventually, went through the operation, looked in the mirror and thought, Jesus, I'm you know, the staples in my neck and everything. I'm going to end up like Frankenstein. Gradually, I had a couple of mates that come up and visited me. They kept me thinking, but for the first, after I get discharged, the first 3 or 4 months with the therapy, I was tired. You know, there was if there is a they're going back home when you sleep. But you generally, you get used to it. But then I started to feel a wee bit down. Going out, you're in the company, nobody could hear you. You're talking away something or sorry. And then people going, aye, oh, aye, you're right. Go on, no, you didn't hear what I said. And I've said to them, look, if you can understand what I'm saying, let me know, and I'll come out. But I found it quite depressing in that situation, especially in a noisy company or a noisy pub. But I just learned to accept it. I mean, I couldn't talk to anybody, I couldn't get out, I could hardly walk. And I was basically in a world of my own. And with that came a lot of anger. And with the anger, because I couldn't express it any other way, other than waving my arms or writing furiously in a paper, it was pointless. I couldn't get rid of it.
Quite down. While I was getting the permittee, as I say, it wasn't a permittee, it was this tumour. And I actually spoke to, it wasn't me, it was Amal, spoke to my wife, the clinical nurse specialist, spoke to her, and she put me in touch with Cancer Support Scotland to get some counselling, because I was not in a very good place. And that's why a great counselling for a counsellor there, Anne, very good. And that's when I started working with Cancer Support Scotland, volunteering and doing support work with them. And I was doing that for a number of years before our own group started, our Heads Up group. And it was a great opportunity, you know, to actually still be in Cancer Support Scotland, but start our own head and neck group. And that really helped me as well, because I was helping other people through the same type of cancer as I went through. And it helped me as well. I was glad of it, actually glad of the thing.
And there is life after cancer. I come to this wee group, Heads Up, on a Thursday. And we all have the same cancer, head and neck cancer. We're all here to help one another. And we're all here to help other people who suffer the same as us. We're not doctors, we're not nurses, we're patients and ex-patients and carers. Heads Up gave me something to live for, because when the depression sets in, it might not be here, but it's still there, and it's there always. When the depression sets in, it's absolutely horrendous. You do not want to live. You feel as if you can't speak to anybody because they're fed up listening to you.
You feel on your own.
You feel on your own. You can't speak to your friends because you think, they're going to think, oh, I talk about his cancer. But in Heads Up, I can speak to my friends in here because we've all come through the same thing. Maybe different types of cancer, but it's all head and neck cancer. And every one of us can understand how another person feels. We might not have went through the same journey, but we know how one another feels.
When I first had the operation, this didn't exist. And I got told about it about 2.5 years ago through my neck nurse up in Gardenable in Mull. And Mull took me around to meet John McLaughlin, who I think you've already seen. And I spoke to John, and he invited me to come up. And I didn't come up right away, but I waited for about 4 months. And I went, oh, I'm going to go up here just to see. And since then, I've not looked back. Because I've found being with these people with the different types of cancer, then you see that it's no what a lot of people make it out to be. It's not as bad as people think. It can be beaten, it can I mean, I go to visit people in hospital, and the first thing was, when did you get done? I get done 15 years ago. 15 years? You could talk all right. Aye, it's not the end of the world. Here, heads up, we run a service which is basically a 1-to-1 or a 2-to-2. You can come here with your partner or with your carer, and the carer can actually speak to people who are in the same position as they are, who are dealing with cancer patients, day in, day out. They know, basically, what you're going to ask them when you come in the door. With all cancer patients, we have all been trained by Macmillan. We are able to speak to people in 1-to-1, able to help them address the cancer, help them face up to the fact that they have the cancer. But, and it's a big but, there is life after cancer. There is a huge life after our work, and it's a word that scares everybody. And one of the phrases used nowadays is, cancer, it's just a word. It's not. It's a life-changing experience, given by a number of letters. But when it's said to you personally, it changes not only your life, how you think. And as such, we're here today to try and leave people's fears and to let them know you can survive it and you can live a life after.
If we can help them in some way, in any way at all, we'll do that. They can drop in, see us at any time, and that's the reason we're here, to try and promote it, to show others that we can help, and through that they can help themselves.